Good evening. There's night two of hanging out at the house for a few weeks, so we'll see what goes on as time goes on. We're gonna continue with the same theme as last night. We did a lot of weird celebrity stuff, and we'll do more of that. Actually, went and pulled up a bunch of videos on while on my YouTube channel earlier today. So some of these artists you want to actually hear what they sound like, go to the my history on my channel and can pull up a lot of them right there. So we'll start with this on my. I work on my way home from work, as many of you know. I go through an area that has a lot of different ethnic communities, which is very cool. And I hit the Goodwill a lot. So I have this album, which I know nothing about. And there's a picture on the back. She looks completely different. Fortunately, it's from Singapore. So I do not, the only thing I can read is that there's copyright on it. So I know nothing about it. And I still have not had time to listen to it. But it had not enough cover that I was interested enough to check it out. So once I listen to it, I can go back. This one is Lena Zervaskanini. I don't know much about her. I did pull up her thing today. It is on Stax Records, which means it was getting promoted probably pretty well in the 70s. I did find that she performed on Johnny Carson around 74, and if you put her name in, do a little Googling around, she apparently was still singing in the 80s, but she was very young. I would say 11 or 12, but a lot of the titles, whoever chose them for, were very age appropriate. Another one of the celebrity albums I have is Vicki Lawrence, which she did have a major hit when the Nights the Lights went out from Georgia, and she could sing, so it's not very much of a novelty thing, but she was a celebrity. This one here is Chad Everett, Emergency 911, I believe. That's what it once was. And he has quite the leisure suit, and he was doing the circuit in there. Let's see if we can get a good shot. Him and his horse having a good time. But he was, and this I believe is a promo copy. He was doing the talk show circuit, singing along quite a bit, and it shows up on a lot of the Golden Throats as Bad Singers collections. This is Jeff Conaway, who actually had a career as on Broadway in between being on Taxi, and I think he was the original Broadway member of Grease. But he was attempting to continue to sing even after Taxi was on, had a major label sign up, but whoever got this, which is a promo, was a record, probably at some records radio station. Someone wrote on the back here with these titles, it couldn't be any good, no airplay. So it's not the best. I've listened to parts of it. It's not the best album out there. And then another one who shows up on a lot of Golden Throats. He's not a bad singer, but he does a lot of over pronunciation and a lot of Broadway kind of acting. But someone talked him into doing a lot more pop tunes on here. The video I pulled up, you can find is Homeward Bound, and it's quite a treat. And then for all the 70s people out there, Joey Heatherton, I don't know much about her. I know there's a woman on Second City Television who kind of based a couple of her characters on there. The woman who was in Home Alone as mom. She would do some of her characters based on Joey Heatherton a lot. About the fact she did a lot of talk shows and singing, but no one ever really knew who she was or what she did. And she was definitely on the talk shows in the 70s when I was a kid. And again, always sang, and no one really knew what she was famous for. This one I'm quite proud of. This here is Thurl Ravenscroft Sings album. He has an amazing baritone voice and does a lot of standards from the time they recorded it. It's on Dot Records. And it is, he's Tony the Tiger for all you younger people. And he sang the Grinch song for people who don't know who Tony Tiger is anymore. But he had quite a baritone and did a lot of things. When I get to Christmas albums, he did a couple of nice Christmas songs over the years too. And this is just an extra one I threw in there because I came across another George Segal album. So apparently he enjoyed his banjo and ragtime enough to make at least 2 full-length albums. Quite the 70s corduroy shirt going on there. And then this is a full-on 80s album. The audio is not the best as far as production is. Definitely is. It's Tina Yothers from. I apologize. I forgot the show she was on. Tina Yothers from the 80s. And I think she was pushed hard into making this album. It is not great. But I did pull up the song. And it was on a small minor label. And looks like they were might have even promoting the tour that she was going to go back on. But I don't know if she ever did tour on this. And then here's one of the albums that I've had for a long time. It's actually a companion to a book called The Golden Turkey Collection, and it goes on about some of the worst movies. But this is a companion album that Rhino put out, probably in the 80s when I bought it. And it has a lot of songs from a lot of the really bad movies. Grip of the Law from Plan 9. Lonesome Baby Rocket, Hooray for Santa Claus, which many of you who know my Christmas collections I've used over the years many times, which was Pia Zadora actually singing, I believe. And then Show Off My Lonely, Special Date, Beware of the Blob. I've always been a fan of the Blob song, but this is a fun collection if you can find it, and it's a lot of bad songs from bad movies. And then kind of started on my trail of a lot of bad celebrity albums, but this is the original first Golden Throats album. Came out in the 80s, was kind of a big hit for a while. And a lot of the classics are on here. Proud Mary by Leonard Nimoy, Ain't Me Babe. I can say I own most of the albums that are on this collection now, so it's kind of been a goal for me, and I'm pretty close to it. And I came across this. It's nothing very exciting, but it is another. Again, Rhino used to make really good, quirky collections. This is a nice theme song album. I think it came out before TV Tunes started really cranking them out. So you could get quite a few of the original theme songs. They refer to it as sing-along, but it is the original theme songs without it, and it's not karaoke. But some of the songs were actually hard to get at one time. And it has the American Bandstand theme, which for a while was tough to come by. And then this album, I have 2 versions of it. Richard Chamberlain from TV's Dr. Kildare. This is the more common version. And then more recently, I came across this. And songs are actually the same on both ones, just a little different things. One is on MGM Metro, and one is just on MGM Records. But as you know, he did a lot of the miniseries in the 70s, and then went on and put out this album. Also, I've got 2 of the Leonard Nimoy albums on vinyl. I have a couple more on CDs in a collection. He put out, I believe, 6 or 7 albums, and truly believed he had a career in singing on the side, but history has not really bore that out. But you can't. I pulled up Bilbo Baggins, which is one of his better known songs, but he was not afraid to butcher a lot of songs. And then we have 2 by David McCallum from the Avengers, and younger people will know him as Ducky from NCIS. But he was actually a fairly accomplished musician, and I think he played piano on a lot of these as well. I'll have to verify that. But he put out 2 albums, one A Part of Me, and then the second one, A Bit More of Me. And he was kind of marketed as a heartthrob for a while. And final one on the celebrities I got for tonight is Danny Thomas. And I know he sang a little bit. I don't know his singing history. We're actually getting to some that are a little bit older than me. But he put out Post was apparently someone who promoted it. He was on Columbia Records and did a few standards on there. One other one I thought I'd pull out tonight to finish up is since we had the anniversary, I think last year, is the moon landing, which several people capitalized on that. This one's "We Came in Peace for All Mankind." And it's audio recordings from the moon landing put out by Decca Records. It all pretty much fell into public domain, so it was pretty easily accessible. And then, so you've got historical recordings from that time period. Again, for the younger people, we didn't have YouTube or nothing, so they would put out this album. This one is still sealed, and this was put out by Michelob, put out a commemorative record of the NASA Apollo landing and the moon landing. It has again, the news story is probably similar to the last one, but has a lot of it put together a little differently. But it's the Voyage of Apollo 11, and like I said, it was a promotional album by Michelob, so you might have got it when you bought beer. This one that was very cool, and I picked it up. This was a Goodwill pickup as well, but it's actually To the Moon. It's a little hard to read on the video there. To the Moon, the dynamic story of going to the moon. It's again another commemorative item, but this one is actually 5 or 6 albums covering the entire space race all the way to the moon. These days, I thought I'd show something hopeful and showing what mankind can do when we put our mind to it. But it also was nice because it came with a full. This was a Time Life edition, full hardbound edition book with it. Has a lot of really nice pictures from the time period and the history, including talk about the World War II and bringing all the scientists from Germany with rocket things, or rocket scientists to build things. But it's very well produced. But that's about all I have for this evening. If anyone has comments, please leave them, or if you want to leave me comments on Facebook, tell me what you think, what you'd like me to other items you might want me to go through. I've collected a lot of stuff for a long time. I'm happy to show it for a while. Like I said, we have time. Everyone stay safe and have a good evening.